Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and comment on the videos. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, let's go. Hello, Billy Ho here. Week 2 NFL, DraftKings, the low key series. I probably don't have all the ownership nailed down just yet this early in the week. This is just kind of a not really a guess, but an educated guess, I could guess you could say. So we're going to take a deeper look at the main slate. This is the Sunday 12 games, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And we're going to look at some beyond. We're going to look beyond those obvious plays and see if we can't find some of them lower owned quarterbacks. And of course, the first part of the strategy, always check your team totals, look at the point spreads, things of that nature. And that way you'll instantly know the popular games. So the first game we're going to start off with as soon as I share the screen is likely the most popular game on the slate. So this is DraftKings, and this is the dashboard. This is, I believe, Fantasy Labs. So shout out Fantasy Labs. I'm using your website just because it's colorful and it's got all the teams and stuff. So over here you have the over-unders, and then right here in the middle you have the implied live totals. So if you scan down here, and I always go through here and start looking for that 50 number. Well, there's 48 and a half. That's a high scoring game. 47, that's interesting. And we got 51 and a half. And no surprise, it's the 425 game of Arizona and Las Vegas. So we go over here, and your first stack is going to be obviously Kyler Murray is not the answer because he's not low key. He's probably going to be quite popular. I imagine people will expect him to bounce back in a huge way from the blowout loss to the juggernaut that is the Chiefs. So, and a cheaper quarterback in Derek Carr, but not too cheap. That's why I think he's low key. It's not that people wouldn't play him, because if he was 5,800, people would. But just that slight bump up to 6,200, I think will keep people off of him. Because obviously, when you go right over here, the first guy you have to pair him with is Davante Adams. So that just knocks your salary down to $5K per player, and you haven't even looked at a running back yet. Now you can obviously get over and punch your tight end and your defense to get your salary back up there. But you see what you're up against is, that much salary and under two players. And then, you go over to Arizona and who are you going to run it back with? The most logical guy there is James Conner, 6,900. That's I don't think people are going to play that stack. It's too expensive. Not when you have wide receivers like Chase, like Cup, Tyreek, things of that nature. Pittman, I don't know. Pittman questionable. Let's take a quick look here, see what it is. Quadriceps, he's probably just maintenance day. Sometimes you get out there and you overrun it a little bit, so he's probably fine. But that's the first game. Derek Carr, I think, will be pretty good. I think he's going to be chasing, and I think he's going to throw a bit more. You can see what he did last week chasing. Threw it 37. He's going to throw 35 to 40 times every game. I don't see how he doesn't, because you got Josh Jacobs, who is, not much of anything. And then you got White, the pass catching running back. They don't have much of a running game to speak of. And you didn't go out of your way to get Davante Adams. And now you got Darren Waller, Renfro, and guys of that nature to not throw it 40 times a game. So I think Carr's a good bet to do so. That's our first guy. Now, the second guy I wanted to talk about is another odd game, and it was one of the higher totals, just shy of 50, which was the Washington at Detroit. So second week in a row, we're going to Detroit looking for a shootout. So Wentz was a big surprise last week. He threw 41 times, which was a lot, and the weather wasn't all that great either. That was a close game back and forth. I don't think it was really overly saturated one way or the other, but he threw two interceptions, which is bad. But 4 touchdowns and 300 yards is what you're looking for. 32 big points and 5,500. So he's only $300 more expensive this week. And he's going to Detroit indoors. He's got a good running back in Gibson that he dumped off to like a half a dozen times. He's also got Scary Terry, McLaurin. Then he's got also a couple other emerging guys in that Doxson, who is the rookie, and actually Curtis Samuel, who looked really good last week and got a ton of targets. So you got some cheap wide receivers to go with in that game. Just to give you a quick look, besides Terry, which is 6,600, which is pretty good for an elite type talent. Then you got the run back of St. Brown at 65. This is interesting. Jamal Williams ruled out, or no, that's Jameson. I'm sorry. I was like, what? So he's ruled out. We all knew that. Never mind. Chark caught a touchdown last week. He was all right. He's a good run back, 5,100. But Samuel got a price bump to 4,600, and Dotson 4,200. So you got some options. I dig this lineup. You can actually do a Scary Terry and probably drop in Curtis Samuel, run over here, and let's see, Swift is a little dinged up. Ankle was not spotted at practice Thursday, so keep an eye on that. But you can always use a wide receiver or somebody else for a run back. So you got Wentz, and you got three guys in your lineup here, and you got 5,500 per player left, so that's not too bad. Now, on to the next game. The Miami-Baltimore game I find quite intriguing. And let me break it down for you this way. I love Lamar Jackson almost more this week than I did last week. And this is why. Because I don't think the Jets pass rush was very good, obviously, because I think all Lamar did was just drop back and throw it. And I think that's why it took him so long. If he hadn't got those later on in the game long touchdown passes, he would have had a crap day. Now, Miami's defense is much more aggressive. They get to the quarterback faster. And if you run after Lamar, all he's got to do is get past that initial burst of a blitz pass rush, and then he can get out in the open field. And maybe this is the game he runs for 100 yards, but he only throws for 200. 201 touchdown, and then he rushes for 100 and another touchdown. 7,400 is about as far up as I'll go. You got guys up here like Wilson and Murray. So, Jackson, I would call the pivot off of Murray. So I like Jackson this week. I think he's going to run more, and that's the main reason why I like Lamar Jackson. So, and here's another game we're looking at. You could probably, I don't know if Stafford's going to be highly owned. I feel like people will go back to Stafford because he had such a bad game the first round and they got behind and he still played bad. 6,300. But that's still tough. You pay 6,300 for a quarterback and then you have to play Cup with him. Cup's 9,900. So where's that leave you? Marcus Mariota, low key, next on the list. Threw it 33 times in a losing effort. They were trailing, so I don't know if you're going to get 33, but I mean, how can they not be trailing at Los Angeles? So he's good. He's probably going to be good for 250 yards passing. and he's going to be using his feet, 72 yards and a touchdown. So he's probably like low key, wait for it, low key Lamar Jackson this week. That's kind of what I want Lamar to do. But if at 5,600, if he can get you 20 to 25 DraftKings points, I think you're in good shape. And this is why: no Mahomes, no Herbert, no Allen, no Hurts. Four of the highest producing quarterbacks on any slate are all playing either Thursday night, Monday night, or whatever. So they're not on the main slate. So that means you can pay down for quarterback this week if you want to. So the next guy I wanted to talk about is Trevor Lawrence. And I'm just going to kind of zip through the rest of these guys because they're not super hyped on my list. But after Mariota, you start dumpster diving a little bit and you get down here into the Trevor Lawrence. Where'd he go? Motherfucker. All right. 5,300 Trevor Lawrence. He obviously has his guy in Christian Kirk, and he also has his guy Marvin Jones Jr., who he's thrown to before. So he's still Ingram. I still think they're going to get something out of Ingram eventually. So he's got some guys to throw to, and he's only 5,300. And he is a guy that can use his legs. He did not last week, but that doesn't mean he won't. So keep an eye on him. And another guy, you know, he was everybody's kind of favorite dude last week was Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. And he was okay. You know, he had 2 touchdowns. He had the kind of I call a luck box long touchdown to Sterling Shepard, or, you know, he wouldn't have had, you know, near this many points because that was like a 65-yard touchdown. So, you know, that's like a 6 or 7 point touchdown. Anyway, he only ran for 25 yards. I don't know that he's going to run as much with Saquon having his back, but he can throw to Saquon. He can run, if he has to run. But, you know, his wide receivers are a week healthier, so I'll give him that. Daniel Jones going up against Carolina Panthers, and you can run all kinds of stuff back that way. You can do a CMC. Robbie Anderson's back, DJ Moore. You got all kinds of options in that game. That game might go slightly overlooked. I don't know, but you save a ton of salary using a $5,100 Daniel Jones. So that's what I like about that. Now, let's see. He's at home versus a team that won't hog the ball as much as Tennessee did either. All the wide receivers are a week healthier. Barkley is a dump off pass away from a 60-yarder. You saw what Chubb and Hunt did last week to the Carolina Panthers. So I think they can be run on. So Barkley's going to be massive, massive chalk. I mean, he, getting into a different skill set here, but 7,300, that's one of the probably, if not the biggest price bump on anybody anywhere is that price bump there. Cause that's $1,200. So anyway, you can have access to CMC and whatnot in that game. So I hope you got a little something out of this video. But the next video is going to cover some running backs, and I'll probably do that in just a minute. And then we'll get down on probably tight ends after that. And we might do some split the slates. I don't know. It depends on where we're at. But to finish up, you can pay down for quarterback this week and feel safe because all the big dogs are gone. I mean, you do have to worry about Kyler blowing up, and you do have to worry about Russ cooking, and you do have to worry about Lamar, like I said, getting that 100-yard rushing. But you only really got those 3 guys that can break the slate on you. I think you're pretty safe with the rest. I don't think Burrow – I think they'll run more in that game because Dallas is just not going to – they're going to be ragdolls. They're going to get run right over. Although I do think Jamar Chase is going to get 175 yards and 2 touchdowns, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Until the next video, we'll see you soon.